Hello everyone and welcome to the FPL Cougars show. I'm Chris.
I'm Kieran.
And today we are previewing Gameweek 36 plus. There's only 3 game weeks to go. We're going to talk captaincy tonight, reveal our teams, plan transfers, look at the Cougar Cup picks, and take any questions from you guys in the chat. Kieran's smiling because I've got some good news on the Cougar Cup picks this week. Should we get right into the little review and see how we got on most recent game week 35 plus? Do you want to start us off because you had a big captaincy return?
Yeah, so I finally stuck to my guns for once. I was sort of down to the wire. I was thinking, oh my god, I should probably just go Bruyne, but no, I stuck it on Raz on Sterling in the end. So yeah, finally nailed a captain. Probably one of the best hat tricks you've ever seen, with his final goal, which is really hilarious. I don't know if you saw that in the end.
I did. Yeah, it was comical. Yeah.
Funny. So yeah, just captain 42 points. I think 42 of my 63 points are from Captain Sterling, which is pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, last week I obviously was really down the dumps about selling Salah for Sterling, but I took a hit for Saka to Foden as well. But overall, of the last 2 weeks, Salah and Saka have scored 26 points, and so I don't think I would have captained Salah last week because it was always going to be under Bruyne.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Sterling this week with the captain plus Foden is 56 points overall. So
nice.
There's huge 30 points positive there. So can't really complain in the end. My Wolves assets did well as well this week. Keeping faith with them. I kept Jimenez when the popular move was to move him on towards Vardy. He only scored 1 point more, but still, 8 points from Jimenez and 6 from Doherty. And I'm still expecting Aurier to come in for Lascelles. So,
That 0, you were weighing that one up last week on the show, but it's not made any difference, has it? Oh, Aurier, did Aurier get 1 in the end?
Yeah, Aurier got 1, yeah.
Okay.
So, and the sort of Alexander-Arnold benching was maybe everyone could sort of see that coming, but never mind. So the 3 United players still to go tonight with De Gea, Fernandes and Rashford. I'm hoping Rashford, my faith in him, can be rewarded as well. So it's been going well this week, and hopefully he can do the business too.
Yeah, no, it was a good game week. I suppose after all that, like you say, after all the frustration last week of selling Salah and then him playing against Burnley and Trent had been benched, you were saying to me that you were just trying to avoid the Liverpool game at all costs at the weekend because you didn't want any bad news to happen because at that point, obviously, Sterling hadn't played, had he?
No, I was absolutely terrified. I was just expecting Salah and Mane and Robertson. Obviously, Robertson did do well, but all those guys to just get hauls, and I didn't have any Liverpool players in that because Trent was benched, and I was bricking it. I think Salah had really similar stats to Sterling in the end, so it could have been really bad, but turned out all right.
It's all right. Vandrad in our chat makes a good point. He said, how scary is the Pep roulette ahead of the FA Cup when you have 3 assets? I bet you were thinking that going into that one because it was another game week. We just didn't know what was going to happen. And I saw after the Brighton game, he came out and said, we'll make 4 or 5 changes ahead of the Bournemouth game in midweek. So I don't think any player is necessarily safe. We saw KDB taken off quite early. We saw Jesus taken off early. Sterling played the full 90. It's always going to be tricky to guess what Pep's going to do. No one's been able to sort of formulate his working plan for how he makes rotations, have they?
It was I guess it's a bit more obvious now with there's so much games in the way. You can sort of predict if someone's played 3 in a row, they'll probably get a rest. But before, when it was weeks between sort of fixtures, everyone would have their rest, and so you could just never sort of guess it. But now you sort of can in a way. I think it's fairly obvious that the sort of defense will change a lot. I think Mendy was sort of rumored to be injured, and he was the one that everyone expected would come out, and he actually started, even though Pep was only mentioned him as injured. But other than that, I think Cancelo, stuff like that come in, and then Sterling I think should be fine. He's had rest recently. Foden I think should come in because he didn't start.
So is this for the next game? You think Sterling will play against Bournemouth?
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I suppose I've been just looking at all the sort of Man City options and comparing them this week, and noticed that the reason we'll get onto captaincy in a little bit, but I'm not keen to captain KDB is the lack of shooting he's basically doing. He's had 2 shots in 2 game weeks, both off target from outside the box. and Sterling's putting up some big numbers, as is Mahrez and Jesus compared to him. So I think there's better options for captaincy this week in the Man City team than the heavily owned Belgian. God, I found it so really serious when I say that. But it's an interesting one with the rotation, because I look at all the minutes and still can't see any sort of pattern. So yeah, second guessing or guessing Pep, and even also, so that I'm changing the subject from City, but changing to Chelsea is difficult as well, because Chelsea have got another plum fixture in Gameweek 36 at home against Norwich, and Lampard said there's going to be a few changes to react to what happened at the weekend. Obviously the 3-0 loss to Sheffield United, and then they've got to play Man United in the FA Cup. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. I don't think, from Chelsea's point of view, Willian, Pulisic, or the main picks are going to get rested because of how important it is to win. But you could see some early substitutions in that game for sure. All right, on to, I suppose I'll just mention my game week then, so people can probably see from on screen. I got 32 points at the moment. That's -4 because I took a hit. So 20k red arrow down to 464. I've got Bruno, captain, Greenwood, and Wan-Bissaka tonight. So I kind of feel any captaincy return is going to be an overall green arrow this week, because Salah and KDB were really popular captain choices and both blanked. And I resisted the temptation to go Vardy, and he scored 7, which is still a great return, better than Salah and Kevin managed this week, who were the popular captain picks. But yeah, 1 goal from Bruno, and that'll be enough to sort of surpass Vardy, I would have thought. So
how do you feel about your hit in the end? Do you think it's okay?
I think there's still a lot riding on this evening with Greenwood against Rashford. So for now, I mean Vardy did well too. So at the moment, Vardy was the Rashford replacement. Let's look at it like that. So Vardy, I don't know, and Green was the Calvert-Lewin replacement. So that's hard to call as well. Sarr and Pulisic it's just one of those things, isn't it? I mean, Sarr's been awful for me for weeks, and then he got on an assist against Newcastle, and obviously Pulisic blanked and came off early.
Did he get an assist this week?
Yeah, he did.
For a penalty, right?
Yeah, that's right. So just one of those things. And I mean, Antonio was in that price bracket, but I can't say I ever thought I was definitely going to go for him. But looking at the stats now, Antonio's looking like a maniac. So yeah.
Anyone in the chat have Antonio?
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Yeah, crazy.
I've seen some crazy big scores this game week.
Is 26 definitely the highest score this week, right? In the season for an individual.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Talking of Antonio, should we do cup picks before we move on to our preview?
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
So yeah, game week 35. I picked Van Aanholt in his classic 1-pointer, losing to Aston Villa. Great
I love the picture you chose for that one. You found
just looking that was my sort of reaction as well for him getting 1 point. And then you obviously went for the big man, the big Antonio, 4 goals, 26 points, and you've pretty much probably won the season. You probably don't need to pick a cup pick for the rest of the weeks, and you probably still win. So yeah, huge. So totals wise, 126 for me, 145 for you now. You were like, I think 6 points behind, so you've leapfrogged massively. And then July, I'm 14 and you're on 34. So 20-point gap for July. And it's what, like a 19-point gap overall.
I think it's amazing. Like the last, when we ever have Cougar Cup picks that get over, I don't know, 6, it's kind of a minor miracle. So to see like a plus 20-point score, because we never double the score. It's like not like a captaincy pick. It is actually just raw score. So to have something that high on a single game week is mad. So, but I mean, Norwich looked woeful, didn't they? Antonio's goals were just so easy. It does make you think, what are Chelsea going to do to them? And teams they've got to play for the rest of the season. They've obviously got Man City as well still. Who's that other fixture in between that? Is it? I think it might be Burnley, maybe. Might be Burnley.
I'm not sure. I haven't looked.
I think it's I think they host Burnley and then they go to City. So yeah, J. Rodriguez captaincy pump maybe in game week 37. Who knows?
Pope captain.
Pope captain. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, massive 10-pointer. It's gonna happen.
All right. So let's move on. Let's talk about 36 then. So should we start out a little bit with? I'll bring up our teams on screen. You've got the armband locked in on Sterling already. Bruno vice captain.
Locked in, maybe not, but yeah.
Tentatively placed, maybe then.
Yeah.
on Sterling. I've got it on Pulisic at the moment, but do you want to take me through maybe what Sterling did for you at the weekend and why, maybe what's leaning you towards or making you lean that way?
So, like I said earlier, I think he should play. He's had his rest recently. So yeah, he's actually the highest point scoring asset in the game since the restart. Obviously, Bruno is still to play tonight, but 60 points so far. And bar the Saints and Chelsea game, he's actually returned double digits in all of the games since the restart, of a 16, a 10, and a 21. Wow. He's sort of hitting form at the right time for FPL managers to kind of take the plunge on him, I suppose. Obviously the rotation is still there, but if you're willing to get rid of someone like a KDB, Salah, or Mane, like what I did, the points are there to be gained from him, I think. And those fixtures, I think it's after Bournemouth, it's Norwich as well.
Yeah, so, Watford and Norwich. Basically got the bottom three to the end of the season.
Yeah, obviously they're going to be fighting really hard to try and stay up, but Norwich are dead and buried, obviously, so they'll probably get an absolute whooping. Bournemouth, they've been better defensively, but I can only really see a sort of hammering here still. So yeah, he's only 18% owned at the moment. So any points that or any returns is going to help your rank. And if you captain him as well, like I did last week, I got from, I don't think I actually said my rank from 60k where I dropped back up to 29k. It's a huge help. So in my thinking, I think he'll start. I think there's time between sort of the FA Cup for him to still play. He'll probably come off at 60. I don't know if that's enough time for a haul, but probably, considering. His XG is 3.47 and an XA of 1.36. He's had 17 shots, 6 big chances, 9 key passes, and 1 big chance created. And the key stat here is 6 big chances, and he scored 6 goals. So Sterling isn't usually known to be clinical, is he? No. But he is exactly that from the restart. So differential that everyone probably should get on, but he is still 11 million odd for and Ake is out as well as Frode and Kossi are saying in the chat. So there was some woeful defending for Bournemouth against Leicester as well. So it seems like City as a team are first across all the metrics for shooting and attacking. Bournemouth are sort of mid-table, and they're pretty woeful, like we said, when Ake is out. So it just looks like it's going to be a mauling. They're fighting, but still, I don't think they can beat City. Not even close.
No, I think it's kind of a minor miracle last night, that comeback in the second half. They got absolutely whomped in the first half against Leicester. They barely had a kick. So something must have happened at half-time. Obviously, the sending off helped them, but they looked like a totally different side in the second half. But that said, I think the class that City have got, Leicester on a bad run of form at the moment, whereas City, on the other hand, are brushing teams aside. I think it's going to be another easy win for City, and surely this weekend it's a captain pick for one of them, or maybe a Chelsea player.
Even with big rotation, the people coming in are still quality players. Probably, maybe Bernardo plays again. David Silva comes in, Foden comes in. That's still, and Mahrez. Well, one of those is going to probably drop it. Jesus as well. They've got quality there to still absolutely smash Bournemouth. So yeah.
No, I'm really looking. I think it's an interesting one. The one that sort of stands out for me on the City side of things is Jesus, because 22 points, 4 attacking returns in the last 2 games. He got subbed early in that game against Brighton. I think he came off about the 60th minute mark. So it looks like he's well rested, and he's been brought off a couple times in the games previous. So Pep likes him to spearhead that attack. He's not playing full 90s very often, but he's racked up what would be good captaincy returns in the last 2 games. So he's had 9 shots in the box, 3 big chances. He's also been quite involved creatively. So he's had 7 key passes and 1 big chance created in the last 2 games. I think he's looking really good. He's such a nice differential as well. 5% ownership. I don't know. What do you think of Jesus this weekend?
See, I think he's probably the one that's going to get rested.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, I think he started the last 4 in a row. But he is coming off at 60 odd minutes. But do they really need him for Bournemouth? And if he looks like he's sort of absolutely first choice at the moment, then he's going to need to play in the FA Cup, right? So, if anyone sort of gets the rest this week, it feels like it's probably him.
That's interesting.
Or Mahrez, who has played the last 3 as well. So it's Mahrez or Jesus, but maybe Jesus starts and because Mahrez played 90 as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, Mahrez played full game. So Jesus' minutes in the last 4 have been 57, 90, 60, and 63. So he's basically started the last 4. I don't know about a full bench. You've worried me now because I've been looking at him as a potential punt this week to get rid of Vardy and go Jesus and maybe captain him. But now you've got me thinking like, maybe not. But I don't know. I quite like him this weekend, or this midweek, I should say.
Yeah, like I said, maybe it is just Mahrez's turn to be benched. So Jesus, like he has been getting the half an hour rest every game, so it should be fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Just not for me this week, but I think he is a decent differential at least.
I think given it's strange to say it, but giving KDB the captaincy seems like a bit of a difficult decision at the moment, just because of the lack of form. So he's had 1 assist in the last 2 games, but he had.
Is it lack of form?
Well,
like, really?
Well, by his standards, I kind of think so. Well, it's just that he's not looked like much of a goal threat. We know he gets his majority of his points from assists, but the fact that he's had 2 shots, both outside the box, both off target in the last 2 games against Brighton and game before that, I'm totally blanking on who they played. They played at home, Kieran, and they played someone who I can't remember. Newcastle, that's who it was. But yes, they only have 1 assist from those 2. Newcastle was that game he was really overwhelmingly captained by people. But yeah, he just seems a bit of an unusual one. So Man City, like you say, leading the goal scoring chance since the restart with 23. 8 clear of second place, Man United. Bournemouth, like you say, looked really sloppy too. Conceded 12 goals since the restart. Only Norwich, who conceded 15, have been more porous. But yeah, it feels with Sterling sort of hauling and having some great attacking numbers, and Jesus doing the same. KDB seems almost third choice in my thinking for Man City captaincy at the moment.
I don't know about that. He's been unlucky. Like the 2 chances Foden missed were I think from KDB, and those were nailed on sitters like that he missed. And there was chances that Jesus missed in the last game that from KDB. KDB should have had a few assists in that game too. So like Rashford, I guess recently, like he's being super unlucky for his returns. So
you wouldn't have any problem putting the captaincy on him. But I mean, I know you're set on Sterling, but you think Kevin's still a more than viable option in this week?
Yeah, I think so. Assuming he starts, we can't be nailed on to say he starts either. But he did have his rest recently too. So I would imagine he, like Sterling, if they both start, probably come off at 60 odd minutes.
Yeah. All right, on to the Chelsea side of things then. Who do you sort of see as captaincy options on that front? I mean, Norwich looked woeful again against West Ham, and I think they must be... Fark came out with some really interesting comments after the game, didn't he? He said it like it was men against boys, which was a bit of a strange thing to say. Like, I don't know if he's having a swipe at the board there, but considering I saw a stat that I think 8 of Norwich's first 11 played in the Championship for them last season, whereas Sheffield United, they had 9 of their first 11 in the most recent round of matches playing the Championship from last season. So he's had the same squad, but he's just obviously not utilised it well enough. And then to be having a dig at them seems quite unusual, really. So it'd be interesting to see if they play for him this weekend. I think it could be another big loss, basically.
Yeah, I can only really see a Chelsea win, a decent win as well. And obviously Chelsea lost to Sheffield United. They usually sort of bounce back with decent wins after losses as well. And I think their last loss was against West Ham, the 3-2, and then they beat Watford 3-0 the game after. Yeah. So, Willian, I think, is a good option. 12.6%, 7.4 million. So if Antonio could score 4 against Norwich, imagine what Willian can do. He's had 10, 14, 9, 11, and 2 since the restart. So he did get a blank recently. But corners, free kicks, pens, all in his favour, nailed on. Yeah. Maybe a rest on the card, but there is 5 odd days between their game and the FA Cup fixture. So I think Willian and Pulisic obviously a good option too. Nailed on in that team because they've been so sort of essential to that team recently. So, and then sort of maybe differential. If you get early team news, possibly that Giroud starts over Tammy, then I think Giroud could be a good option. But I expect obviously 60 minutes, you're probably looking to hopefully get a haul within the odd 60 minutes. But Tammy wasn't particularly good. I think he might be the one one of them that is sort of why Lampard's talk of like that wasn't good enough. So yeah, I think possibly Reece James comes out, possibly someone like that. Maybe Alonso comes in if you get sort of. I would like to punt on Alonso for this game because there's not going to be much defending needed. So Alonso attacking Jamal Lewis, is it? So that seems pretty good to me. Assuming he starts if we get early team moves. But yeah, Alonso seems good because he's going to be super low owned.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. We've also had some good points in the chat. So Nathan, who's leading the FPL Cougars mini league, has popped in saying he's saying Pulisic captain for this week, and Jacko's also said Norwich suck at defending corners, which my God, yes they do.
Yeah, Giroud.
Yeah, and also Willian assists as well. So I think there's a lot of potential for investment in the Chelsea side this weekend. On the Pulisic side of thing, I did pull up some stats for him because like you, they need to bounce back after that Sheffield United game. Like you say, when they have an unexpected loss in the Premier League, they bounce back pretty strongly like they did against Watford. So I think Pulisic's had 3 goals and 3 assists to his name since the restart. I think only Antonio 26 and Salah 24 have taken more shots amongst midfielders than his 16. I think Chelsea have scored 12 goals since the restart as well, which is only bettered by United and City, who have got 15 and 23 respectively. So I think they're looking good from an attacking point of view as a team, and Pulisic himself. Maybe I feel like the Sheffield United game was just a massive blip, and maybe the defensive stability sort of let their confidence slip, and that's maybe why they didn't play so well. Do you have any thoughts on why they didn't do so well in that game? Because it's hard to pick up all these numbers and then say, oh, but they just got whipped 3-0 by Sheffield United last game week.
I don't know, just something just didn't click, did it? I can't really say pinpoint why. Don't know, just Sheffield United, just a better system team that just I don't know. McGoldrick is probably essential right now.
Yeah,
race against Chelsea is looking good. But
free hit McGoldrick and Solanke this weekend. This week.
Yeah. So you've seen the sort of numbers of the players that have got over like 10 points this week is just ridiculous because it's like Sterling, Antonio, and then like the rest are just like nobody's like Solanke and stuff. Kind of funny. But I don't know. I think even a defensive asset for this week could be good. Like I said, Alonso, Azpilicueta. I can't see Norwich scoring really, but then again, like Chelsea defense has been pretty porous lately, so that they probably will concede.
Yeah, I think it's only, funnily enough, only Sheffield United who've conceded 15 big chances is more than Chelsea who've conceded 14. So, yeah, that was a bit of a surprise when I saw that. The defence was awful, wasn't it? And so bad against Sheffield United, just all over the place. But yeah, I would be interested in a Chelsea defender this weekend I keep saying weekend, this midweek on a free hit. But like you say, it just takes one bit of sloppy defending, which they're more than capable of doing. And I mean, Norwich are probably thinking, we're just essentially we're having a free hit this weekend. We're already down. We're going to Stamford Bridge. We might as well just try and express ourselves and play our football. They've either got that mentality or they just sort of turn up thinking, we're already stuffed, and just phone it in for a game. So I think there's a lot of avenues or not a lot of reasons I should say, to give in one of the Chelsea players the armband this weekend. Yep. Any more on the Chelsea side of things you think could be a good captaincy shout this weekend? Or I mean, you mentioned Giroud. Would he be just a mega differential at this point?
I mean, yeah, he'd probably be enough to own. I think so. Yeah, he's looked good when he's played. He has scored goals. Yeah, and this is the sort of fixture, with corners and stuff that he could do well in, assuming he starts. So he's probably not the worst shout at captaincy. But I wouldn't imagine a haul from him.
No, I just had a quick look at his numbers. He's not had like 2 attacking returns in a game this season. He's not played a whole lot of football, but
I thought he'd at least got 1 by now.
Well, he's had single digit returns in 2 of the last 3 game weeks with 2 goals. But yeah, maybe he'd be a very ballsy captaincy pick this game week. On to probably players who are a bit more safer. I mean, we haven't seen Bruno tonight play, so we don't know what he's going to turn up or what he's going to do against Palace to convince us that he's still the man to captain. But I think it's only Sterling and Antonio, obviously after their big numbers this game week, who both got 6, have scored more goals than his 5. He's had 18 shots, which is only bettered by... he's had 16 shots, only bettered by De Bruyne, Salah and Antonio. He created 12 chances since the restart, and I think he's now actually the most owned player in the top 1,000 with 96% ownership. So really, if you want to be making those gains, you've got to captain him. Palace, they're not looking so good defensively recently. So they've conceded 11 goals since the restart. Only Brighton and Bournemouth with 12 and Norwich 15 have conceded more. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. Maybe United assets are getting a little bit overlooked because of City and Chelsea's favourable fixtures. But what do you think about Bruno and maybe Martial this game week?
Yeah, I haven't really written anything down about them just because I think it's obvious that they're going to do well. I think Crystal Palace have been poor lately, so they're not the defensive team that they have been. And yeah, it's just Fernandes has got to sort of blank at some point. I'm kind of hoping it's tonight, but
no.
I think that well, yeah, not for you obviously, but
we need big points.
Yeah, so I think that Palace game looks good for points. I can't see the United train sort of being derailed anytime soon, to be honest. And Fernandes, Rashford, Greenwood, Martial, all of them seem like good captaincy picks there. They can't really score either, so I think one defender is also a good shout. I kind of luckily like Greenwood hasn't hauled lately, and in the last few games, well, the last game, and De Gea has sort of only got one less point, and Wan-Bissaka nearly got you a goal last week as well. Yeah. So I'm hoping Greenwood at least stays quiet, and De Gea in that defense is looking good for a clean sheet against Palace at least. So the United assets I think are still good and definitely worthy of captaincy as well.
I mean, if you were given it, there's been a lot of talk I've seen. If you were given another wildcard now and taking into consideration what City's last 3 fixtures are and what United's last 3 fixtures are. So we mentioned City's earlier. I've got the bottom 3, and I think after Palace, United have got some really favourable games as well in Palace, West Ham and Leicester. Obviously they're going to be gunning to try and get that 3rd spot. This
is going to be interesting.
Yeah, if you had those 6 slots that I sort of make you have, Man United and City players, what would your picks be? Because I saw there was a bit of a discussion about who would your top ones be. Would you go all out attack, 3 attacks from each side, or spread it about a bit? I mean, or would you keep what you've got now? Because I mean, you've already got. I think you've nearly got 3 and 3 and 3.
I do. I guess you'd maybe go Edison just for clean sheet and nailed onness in that team.
Yeah.
But they are the teams they're fighting are trying to avoid relegation. Other than sort of, I guess Bournemouth are pretty much down, and Norwich are obviously down already. So there's the bottom 3, but they're down, so they're gonna be bad probably. Yeah. I mean, Watford are still fighting, so they will need to try and get a result, but. I think Watford usually crumble to City. I think their record is really bad against them.
Awful, yeah.
So 3 attack would be good, but the 3 attack is so rotation prone that it's hard to nail. The United, I think, you probably want to go 3 attack as well. In my scenario, I would like 3 attack, but I just happened to get De Gea for the wildcard, which is a silly decision. But probably 3 and 3 from attack.
Yeah, no, it was interesting because there's lots of people been talking about how much you cover off their defense, and whilst their attacks have been so good, like we said, they're the 2 of the highest score. They are the 2 highest scoring teams. Trying to predict that City lineup and get those consistent attacking returns from their players is always a little bit tricky. I mean, you've experienced Foden firsthand. That I don't think he started. Has he started either game since you've had him?
Yeah, he started the first one.
Did he start the first one?
He got 3 points, but yeah.
But exactly, it's that sort of thing, trying to get the balance right. I feel like with United, it's a little bit easier where you could go right through the team and choose an attacker, defender, and a midfielder. But with City, I think from the back line, you'd only want to pick Edison. But when Pep changes it up so much, I kind of think it makes the defence a little bit more unstable, like we saw in that Southampton game. I think they conceded quite a few chances, which Southampton maybe could have capitalised on a bit more. Anyway, an interesting one, because I'm sure people are looking at those 2 teams for investment. All right, should we move on to key players for this game week?
Okay. So this one could be a captain shout. Ings. Obviously, he's at 28.7% owned, which I had no idea that was that high. At 7.4 million, he's a Golden Boot contender. I think he's probably essential to get in if he's These last 3 fixtures are really good. I think it is Brighton at home, Bournemouth away, Sheffield United at home. Wouldn't put it past him to score in every single one of those if he's looking for the golden boot. He's Hasenhüttl said he's going to play.
Yep.
So you kind of need him with that sort of TSV or sort of that sort of selected buy. That's huge. And at that price for a golden boot contender, why would you not? So Jimenez or DCL up to Ings to me seems like a no-brainer for me this week with 2 free transfers. But yeah, he's had 11, 2, 13, 2, and 9 so far, and he's obviously got to play United later, which I'm hoping he doesn't play because he sort of has blanked against City and Arsenal, I think it was.
Yeah,
I can't remember who.
Yeah, he blanked in those games.
So he's blanked against the bigger teams, and I'm hoping that's the same tonight. But he's being a sort of a flat track bully against the other teams. So and with 3 good fixtures, Ings seems a great shout. Obviously, Brighton have looked okay defensively, but they've shipped like 8 goals or something recently. So I like Ings this week, and he's possibly a captain shot, I should say, if he looks good tonight and doesn't get injured.
Yeah,
like him.
What do you think about the golden boot from here until the end of the season? Because there's 4 probably key players in it now. With leading the way.
Yeah, Vardy on 23 goals, Aubameyang on 20, Salah on 19, and Ings on 19, and then Sterling is just behind on 17, but probably not in contention, unless he gets another hat-trick. Vardy, I would assume he's got Sheffield United, Tottenham away, and then Man United at home, which are obviously 3 difficult games. So by far the hardest run of all the sort of golden boot contenders. So I assume if he gets one more, I think he probably nails and wins it 24. But if he doesn't, then I think Salah can score against Arsenal and Chelsea, and then he's got Newcastle away the last game. That feels like he could be within a shout for it. Aubameyang, I think after Liverpool, he's got Aston Villa and then Watford. Those great fixtures.
They are really
good.
And
he looked really good against Tottenham. I thought he looked really good.
Yeah, unlucky not to score, I thought, when he hit the post. Maybe he should have done better.
And he had a few other good chances too. So I'm tempted to try and fit Aubameyang in somewhere, but it's just his price he's really expensive. I think all of them have a chance, honestly, because like Ings with those really good fixtures, he has a chance too. But I think if Vardy gets one more, he should be able to nail it on. But if you want to probably get as many of them in your team as you can, and I at the moment have 0 of them, which needs to change.
I was lucky to have Vardy this game week, but it's funny, like you say, I kind of feel after this Sheffield United game maybe he'll get one goal from these last 3 games: Sheffield United, Tottenham, Man United. I can't see him getting much more than that. Leicester looks short of confidence, and I think Soyuncu missing, as well as Maddison and Didi's obviously been out. Their confidence just seems shot at the moment. Aubameyang, I think, is, like you say, he's got the big potential to do it with those Aston Villa and Watford games, because potentially by the time he plays both of those 2, they might both be, or they both could be, either relegated or know they're safe. So what is their motivation, especially Watford on the last day of the season? I kind of feel like all the pressure of trying to fight to stay up every week will just be done, and they'll just be on their jollies before finishing. Ings is the sort of outside bet because he's 4 goals behind, but his fixtures are so good. Brighton have been whipped a few times recently, and having them at home and Bournemouth away, those 2 fixtures back to back, I think if he could get a goal or 2 in that first one, it would just really spur him on. So is it like you mentioned trying to get Aubameyang in your team? Is he someone you want to try and look out ahead of that Aston Villa game? You don't have any chips left, do you now?
No, I don't. But yeah, possibly. But Villa did look good. They're the ones that are surely trying to get out. They're trying their hardest to catch up Watford.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could be a sort of a banana skin. And then like I said, Watford might be already down or safe by then, and that could be a sort of free run. So hard to judge. I don't think it's even that hard for him to score against Liverpool, because they've been giving up a lot of chances lately. So Aubameyang could do well in all of them, really.
Yeah, no, it will
Sure.
be it'd be interesting to see. It's just a shame his price point's a little bit sticky even for me. Like to get there from
Yeah,
Vardy,
well,
I'd have to take a little bit of a restructure, so it might be a bit
would have to
tricky.
sell Pulisic, something like that.
Yeah, I do have my free hit still, but I mean, I don't think the
Of
free
course.
hit would do him justice. Like you'd have to pick that one game and hope he bangs, and it might have to be that Watford game on the last one of the season. But I don't think I'm
Mm.
sure that other people have got their free hit as well. The last game of the season doesn't look that good a game because Man United are playing Leicester and Chelsea are playing Wolves, and maybe they're all quite good potential free
Man
hit
United
teams.
always seems to beat Leicester though.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's the last game of the season and it's going to be difficult, but they always seem to have the number on Leicester. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to be a sort of like a tight game. I think it might be like quite high scoring. Yeah.
Oh, maybe
like Jack said in the chat as well, Aubameyang's probably going to be in a lot of free hit 38 teams.
Yeah, true. I mean,
so that seems nailed on for lots. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been really weighing up whether to play my free hit this game week or in 38. It's been such a difficult one. I feel like this week is a better fixture run for Chelsea and Man City. And Chelsea have got some good medium priced assets, which mean you can have a lot of attack from Man City, Chelsea, and maybe sprinkle in a Liverpool player or Man United player with that. Whereas in the last game week of the season, it feels like there's a lot more expensive assets you'd have to try and cram in because obviously Liverpool have got a good game at Newcastle. You'd probably want to get Salah in. You'd want to get Aubameyang in against Watford. Man City have got Norwich at home. You'd probably fancy KDB and Sterling. It's then trying to make some really tough decisions on which premium assets you want in your team. And even Spurs away at Crystal Palace on the last day of the season, you're thinking Son might be a good option. So, I mean, yeah, the last game week we're almost like spoilt for choice.
You need to have a team value of 200 million.
I know. You've been playing with like 3 4.0 defenders who don't play just so you can cram in like 8 premiums in front of them. So
yeah, imagine.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But anyway, so that's an idea. But I've still got mine. You think? Sorry, just to pick up on Salah then, because you mentioned him going for the golden boot. He looked hungry, didn't he, at the weekend against Burnley, and lucky not to come away with anything.
He did, yeah. As I said at the sort of start of the show, like he had basically the same sort of stats as Sterling this weekend when Sterling got 21 points and he got 2. So, but yeah, Salah does look hungry, as you said. Since the restart, he's had 24 shots, 7 big chances, 12 key passes, 2 big chances created, an XG of 4.39, which is obviously pretty big, an XA of 1.97, and 3 goals, 3 assists. And yeah, everyone's sort of, well, maybe not everyone, but people did expect him to be rested in the last game. And with obviously Arsenal, Chelsea the next 2, I can't really see him getting rested anywhere, actually. I
know.
So he's not going to be rested on the last day of the season either, is he? So against Newcastle. So yeah, it feels like the time for rest for Salah is gone, been and gone. And I think he starts the rest. And I think if you own him, then yeah, good. Salah is great. So Arsenal have been pretty bad defensively, as Kosey's just said in the chat. Well, they had been good, but they were bad last game. So yeah, I think Salah can definitely exploit Arsenal and Chelsea defenses, and then Newcastle too. So yeah, like him. I kind of want him back at some point, but don't know when or how at this point.
Yeah, I'm happy to have him at the moment. If I'm honest, like you say, the fixtures aren't the best, but it's Liverpool. And it's Salah. So, and the games between Arsenal and Liverpool in the past have usually been quite goal fest, really, haven't they? So, whilst I haven't seen many people with the armband on him this week, but I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up a goal against Arsenal. My final key player, just to shout out, really, is Antonio. So we talked about it a little bit earlier, but 7 million price, man. He scored a third of his total points basically at the weekend. Since the restart, he's actually been playing really well. Like his no fluke that he got 4 goals. He's had 9 big chances, which is the most in the league, 2 more than Salah. He's had 22 shots in the box, which is again the most, 2 more ahead of second place Jesus. And his expected points, right, is actually 51, and his actual points is 50. So the underlying numbers are good, and they're showing that he's actually delivering what he's promising. And he's facing a Watford side this weekend that haven't kept a clean sheet since we're back out the other side of lockdown, and they're only one of 2 teams who have been that bad, and they've conceded the 4th highest amount of big chances in that time. So I kind of feel like Antonio could be due some more points this weekend. His ownership, considering his massive haul, usually people sort of flock to anyone that's done well that last game week. I mean, people have transferred him in, but not in great numbers like you'd expect for a game against Watford up next. He's still owned by only 2.5%. So yeah, if you fancy a differential for Antonio, who's got games against Watford and Aston Villa at home in the final 3 game weeks, yeah, I think go for it.
Yeah, I think if you had him, then you're probably not going to get rid of him, are you?
No way, no.
Yeah.
He's only 59,000 transfers in this game week, which I mean it's less than Sterling, and he's got some good fixtures. You know, he's sure of starts. He's playing out of position up front. He's a nice price. I think there's a lot going for Antonio at the minute.
Yeah,
cool.
There's some managers all on Twitter with both Antonio and Sterling, and a few people with that captained him. It's just sort of bloody hell. It's just like that's odd. What, like 80 odd points for 2 players?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
That's mental. Like, yeah, you'd be huge, like just rocketing up the ranks if you had those.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just happy with the Sterling at least.
I'm a big fan of that Magnus Carlsen, the chess player, just because he's almost like a bit of a celebrity player, and the fact that people in the chat might not be familiar with him, but he's moved up to 5th, I think, overall from being about 30th last week, and he's got 96 points this game week. He took KDB out, he brought Sterling in, he captained Sterling, he's got Antonio, he's had Vardy, a double Wolves defence. I mean, the man's a freak.
His wildcard at the time didn't look particularly good. He's just got some hindsight somehow.
I know, really good. He made the decision to get rid of Kane, so fair play to him. But fair play to anyone that's done the same.
I say Andrew in the chat had Bowen, who's looked good recently as well, and Bowen obviously blanked in that game when he's like 0.9 below sort of Antonio's price. Like I think he's like 6 million, isn't he? And yeah, that's just, it's got to hurt, hasn't it? So in that 4-0, and he's not got any assists or anything. If you had the choice of the two and you pick Bowen, you can't really be mad about it because at the time he was doing well. Yeah. So, frustrating, big time.
Yeah. I like that Nathan's just posted in the chat on 31 points behind Magnus. You can do it.
He's wasn't he? I think he said he was like 17th overall or 19th, which is really good. Yeah, he said he's going to go beat him. I like that.
Yeah. Alan said, Chris said, you going with Antonio. What happened? Well, I didn't go with him in my actual team, but the Cub pick was all over the Cub pick. So Kieran's been well and truly trumped last game week, but he's not actually in my team. What we haven't picked, have we? We picked Cubs for this week. Perhaps we'll do that, and then we'll just answer any more questions.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
So I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go punty because I need it at this point. So Armstrong at 0.6%.
Yeah, I was
Brighton at home.
Yeah.
And I like the matchup. I think he seems to be assisting Ings all the time, and he gets goals too. So yeah, I like him this week.
Cool. I think that's quite a good pick. All right, I'm gonna go for. It's a tough one. I'm gonna go for Jesus. Sorry. I can go for him, but I'm quite tempted to bring him in. So if I do that, I'm gonna who am I gonna go? Tell you what, I'm gonna double down on my Antonio loving. So if I do end up picking Jesus, I'm going Antonio again. Kieran at home. He's so low, 2.5%, and he's
playing
a man in form. He's got Watford at home.
Watford, okay.
Yeah, they're rolling up, ready for a spanking, and Antonio's going to be dishing it out.
Yeah, I like that.
Going to be some. Good. All right, some points. Up for grabs. I was going to say something very non-stream friendly about bums, but we won't talk about bums. Okay, cool. Right. I don't think we've got any more questions. Have we? Have anyone in the chat took the hit to bring in Antonio last week? God, that's a good hit. Well done,
Richard's mentioning Lamptey. I think he.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Brighton. What are their fixtures? I can't even remember.
My feeling with Brighton at the moment is they've just got whipped by 3 big teams back to back in United, City, and Liverpool. So I think he's looked good despite that. I think Lamptey, he's they're good, aren't they?
Yeah, the Southampton away, obviously not easy. Newcastle home, Burnley away. There's 3 decent fixtures for Brighton. Although Newcastle do look quite good going forward at the moment. And then Burnley, there's probably going to be a Jay Rodriguez goal in there somewhere. So maybe they're not as good as they look on paper. But 4 million, if you want to start him in the rest and you can save a lot of money from him, then yeah, like that.
Definitely. And in the 5 games back, actually, just taking a little look at it, the 2 times they've played teams from outside the top 6, they've actually kept clean sheets. So yeah, 2 clean sheets and 1 attacking return in his last 5 games. He's looked alright for it. I think he's gone up to. Is he 4 point? No, I think he's still 4.0.
He's full. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about other players? Andrew's mentioned other Brighton players with their good fixtures like Trossard, Mopai. Anyone to look at?
Maybe Trossard because he looked good in the Liverpool game, but I feel like that would be very, very punty. Because Brighton, the reason I probably say that is just because they've got very little to play for at the moment. Do you not think? I mean, they're just playing now into the end of the season. Yeah, they got the nice end to the season. Maybe they're gonna, I don't know. You don't know what exactly. You don't know what their motivation level is going to be like. Are they already on the beach? They're pretty much safe now. They don't have to worry about anything like that. Are they going to be playing for their places for next season?
They're always on the beach, aren't they?
Yeah, they're always at the beach.
Yeah.
So no, other differentials apart from that between now and the end of the season. I don't know. Is there anyone else that stands out to you? Maybe Armstrong, like you mentioned on the Southampton side, because I think they've got some good fixtures. He's been quite good since the restart.
I want to get him in. I want to get him in next week after, because I think Foden will start this week, so I think it's a good fixture for him. So I want to get Foden in, Armstrong in for Foden.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harvey Richards mentioned Kieran Tierney. He's looked good as well. Yeah, that's a great shout, actually. Yeah, after Liverpool. Yeah, Tierney. He's good to go from Aurier, actually. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because Tierney's look really good going forward.
Yeah.
0.7% owned. Yeah, great shout, Harvey.
Yeah, he played. I mean, I was actually watching him in the Arsenal and the North London derby yesterday, thinking he looks good for next season. If his price is 5.3, so I imagine next season he's going to be priced up at 5.5. But if he was 5 million, he'd be really interesting. But Arteta seemed to play him 4-3 yesterday. Tierney played sort of wide left, and he was getting the ball on the edge of the box so much, whipping it in, especially in the first half. So yeah, I thought he was taking up some dangerous positions. So yeah, he could be a good shout for the last 2 games of the season. Quite like that one.
I didn't really think about it at all, but that sounds like a great option to go from Aurier to him.
Yeah, I like it.
Considering Aurier might not even play. Well, I wouldn't want him against Liverpool, would I? But yeah, from next week, I like that a lot. Bernardo Silva.
I tell you what, if I do
David Silva,
if I do a free hit on the last day of the season, David Silva would be probably the first name on it. His last game in the Premier League after that 5 years, and you saw what he did the other week to Newcastle. I think Pep is definitely going to play him in that last game week, especially because it's at the Etihad, and I feel like he could be.
He should do.
He could be key. It's the sort of thing. I mean, managers have done it in the past. You don't know how sentimental Pep is. But I can't remember which Chelsea player it was now. Maybe someone in the chat remember. It might have been Makaleli. But I remember when like a long-serving player from Chelsea in the last game of the season, they gave him penalty duties. So imagine if David Silva gets pens in that last game as well, added to his like in-play assists. What was his point tally of the week? Was it 17, something like that? Against Newcastle, it was huge. So yeah, David Silva could be a really nice one on the final day.
I like that. Yeah.
Cool. Any more? Any more? Oh, sorry.
I was just saying. I think the final day is just rife for punts, isn't it? You just got to go for just what if you want. I wish I had my free hit for it, but yeah. Just go for it on the final day if you're chasing or if you're protecting. Then try and cover other people's moves if you can. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all today I've been looking at doing a free hit quite seriously for this game week, but. Yeah, the more we talked about it on the show, I think maybe I'm just going to go all out in 38 and try and load up on some juicy premiums. Get Aubameyang in there, get Salah, get I don't know who else. Dilver.
Yes. Oh, I'm going to ruin my 120 odd points lead. You're gonna smash it and get 120 odd points over me.
I think it's going to have to be another season. All right, I think that's it, isn't it? Your final captaincy. I mean. Let's just say if it's not going to be Sterling, you haven't given me a conclusive answer on that.
Pulisic or Bruyne, I think it'll be the other two.
Pulisic or Bruyne, okay.
But I'm kind of liking the punty pick. So yeah, I think Kieran W also put in chat if Alonso is starting, I might bring Alonso in and captaincy on Alonso sounds nice.
All right, I'm pretty much set on. One of 2 players, which isn't very set at all, is it? Maybe Pulisic or Kevin. At the moment, it's Pulisic, but yeah, things could change by this time tomorrow. Cool. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back on this Friday. I can't remember when the next set of fixtures are. Yeah, we'll be back this Friday for another stream. Catch us at about 5:45 p.m. I hope you all have a great game week. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, see you next time. Goodbye from me.
Thanks, everyone.